All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, depending on where you're from, when you're watching this, or how you're watching this, I guess. My name is Garrett Zimmer, aka PB Jelly Games, one of the co-founders of MinecraftEdu After Chat, and I am joined tonight, and I welcome all of you to join us for the After Chat. I am joined with the amazing Craig Smith. We had as our host, as our guest moderator for the Minecraft Chat this evening. We are also joined by my co-founder of the MinecraftEdu Chat, Mark Grandel, who needs no introduction from me because I could never do it any justice, but he will give his own introduction in a moment. We'll introduce them. Who we are missing tonight, though, is Heath Wild, and it's very unfortunate because he is a tremendous educator and has so much to share, but I encourage all of you guys to go back through to the Participate Learn link that is in the description and check out the actual entire Twitter chat. You can see the questions, you can see the answers, you can see everything compiled properly for your viewing experience to see the archive of that chat. What we do in the after chat is after every single Minecraft Ed chat, we have an after chat to cover the highlights. For those of you who may need to watch it afterwards, who don't want to go through the Twitter chat as it is on Participate Learn, we do this for you. And it gives us an opportunity to further explore some of the topics that we were discussing. So I'm not going to tell you about the topic. In fact, I am going to let my co-founder, Mark Grandel, introduce himself and tell us about the topic, and then we're going to let Craig Smith introduce himself, and we'll get right into the questions at that. So, Mark, why don't you go ahead and tell us, what were we talking about tonight?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Good evening. Thanks for the great introduction, Garrett. Yeah, so tonight, you know, when we first started this chat, we were looking at how to build a curriculum around special needs students, and it sort of evolved into a story of really facilitating learning for all students, because all students are unique and they all have their own, you know, special needs or quirks in their own way. And when I say special needs, I don't necessarily you know, mean special education, but that, you know, we all have our own quirks and we all have our own learning styles, and we all tend to learn a little bit differently. We're all unique. We have our own interests, and we all like to express ourselves in different ways. And I think the beauty of Minecraft is it really does allow for all of us to you know, be unique and be ourselves, and it really creates a great platform for, you know, just open communication, open teamwork, open collaboration, and we sort of springboarded off of that. So that's sort of where we went with the chat tonight.
Excellent. Well, why don't we give Craig, the man who came up with the topic, the idea, and made it really work, along with all of your contribution, the entire Twitter community's contribution. And if you're not following us on Twitter, please do so, follow us, but make sure that every Tuesday night, 8 p.m., you join us for the MinecraftEdu Twitter chats, because we have some powerful conversations, and it's an opportunity for you to really share your level of expertise, your experience, and your voice into the picture. And one of the things that we've all learned about Minecraft, and I think the two gentlemen sitting with me today will emphatically agree with, is that Minecraft is really all about sharing a personal experience. It's not about, you don't have to be an expert, you don't have to be, you know, the top of the line expert in anything in Minecraft. You just have to bring your own passion into it. So Craig, why don't, without further ado, let's go back to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you yet, and tell us a little bit about the topic and why you chose it.
Thanks so much, guys. That was a really good chat again tonight. So this is the second of these Minecraft EDU chats that I've been involved in as a co-moderator. So I'm Craig. I'm in Australia, so it's our lunchtime here, 12 o'clock midday, and I am the deputy principal at a school for children on the autism spectrum, and we are very passionate about using Minecraft to engage with, you know, the academic learning needs of our kids, but also, and probably more important to us, is all the really functional life goals and, you know, social skills, emotional understanding, communication, all that good stuff. We just find Minecraft to be such a beautiful vehicle for, and something that just helps us make all sorts of connections that we could never do in any other way. Thinking about a topic for this chat because when we did our previous chat, it was around World Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Acceptance Month, and we were talking about a very specific autism focus. But with this chat, we wanted to broaden it out a little more towards the special interests that our kids have.
Yes.
For a lot of our kids, Minecraft was their sole special interest. Like Minecraft was the center of everything that they were thinking about. But then as time moved on, Minecraft became a canvas for our kids to explore other special interests that they have within. So at first it was just all about Minecraft. And then it was like, well, you know, I also like My Little Pony, and I also like mapping and geography, and I also love robots. And what if I was able to bring all those things into the world of Minecraft so I could really explore the things that I love and the special interests that I've got within a space that just allows us to do so much. So that was really, I think, the kicking off point for us in thinking about this chat topic was how do our kids use Minecraft to engage with their special interests, and how do we as teachers really sort of, you know, provide those opportunities for our kids to have a safe space in which to really share what they love and to further develop the things that they love as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I look at back in my day, I would sit in class and I would doodle, right? And I would doodle my special interests, whatever it was. And then there was a period of my life where I got really heavily into this game called ARC, Attack, Retrieve, and Capture. And it was one of the earliest games that actually allowed you to build your own maps, to build your own world,
right.
build your own environments. And I had come from ages and ages of working with my friends on building, you know, adventure games and very role play style Dungeons and Dragons style scenarios. And it was just brilliant for me. And I remember spending oodles of time in class designing out these games. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Minecraft, one of the best things about it is, you know, if we can harness it properly, we allow kids to not only engage in their passions, but also scaffold those passions, as you're saying, into new passions. I realized my love for artistic creation and artistic development out of that. It comes from Minecraft. So brilliant topic. So what was question one, and what were some of the highlights that we saw then out of question one?
Yeah, so question one was around really that sort of introductory idea of, well, how do you use the special interests of your kids to engage in Minecraft? So I've got question one. I basically just said it. How do you use Minecraft to engage the special interests of your students, and what are some examples of this that you can use? And I mean, the sort of things that I was thinking about, I think first up was when a new movie is coming out and all the kids are sort of, you know, talking about this new movie and they're waiting for it to come out. I mean, that's what happened to us when the Pixar movie Inside Out was coming out. And, you know, our kids always are waiting for the new Pixar movie, and they were just buzzing about this Inside Out. It looked really cool from the trailers. And so we think, well, what's a way to really capitalize on this and to, you know, to get the kids enthused and to engage in the themes of the movie once they'd seen it. And for us, you know, I think one of the first pictures that I shared in the tweet was one that a student made where they had created the character Anger from Inside Out, who's this red-bodied, angry little character. Fire shoots out of his head when he's angry. And they made this beautiful, you know, pixel art style version of this character in Minecraft as a way of, you know, exploring and understanding what it stands for. And it gave us a platform then to talk about anger and emotions. And, you know, so it's almost like the kids take the lead by saying, well, this is what I'm interested in. And then we go into teacher mode and the cogs start ticking and we think, well, how can we pull out some really interesting themes here? And all of that happens within Minecraft.
Well, it also goes from, you know, what the kid is interested in, So we've got, you know, the core interest being Minecraft, but it also is what's relevant at that moment. That's what I'm hearing in that, and that's what I'm seeing in that. And, you know, sometimes what's relevant in that moment, what's pop culture in that moment, doesn't often become thought about. It's often, you know, we ingest and we just let it go. You know, you see the new Star Wars movie and then, you know, 6 months down the road, you've forgotten about it. You don't really get in and explore the nuances, the deeper aspects of it, except for Mark.
Yeah, totally.
Because Mark explores it. He watches it religiously every day. I'm only using Star Wars as an example because I literally just, you know, triathlon marathoned it over the last week. But, you know, you take a movie like Inside Out, and a lot of those concepts are very core to what you guys do in the autism spectrum school. And, you know, how do you get kids to actually explore that deeper? And using Minecraft, it really bridges, it becomes that bridge tool to allow them to say, look, it's not just a will-o'-the-wisp whim type thing that comes and goes. It's not just something that I watched and forgot. It's something that I can actually engage in on a deeper level. And in that engagement, that's where the thinking process comes, right? Like, it's not about you standing there and saying, hey, this is what it's all about and discoursing. It's about you're building it, you're thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely, Garrett. And I think there's something that we are always very conscious of in trying to really seize upon these sort of zeitgeist moments where we think we know this is going to be something that's going to be occupying our kids' minds. Say something like Pokemon Go, which is not something we explored in the chat, but it's something that it came along and we thought we can't just let this thing pass and not use it in a way that we're able to bring it into the classroom. And Minecraft, again, was, I mean, the number of Pokemon Go, you know, maps and little worlds that our kids have been making in Minecraft based on this new, you know, zeitgeist moment that came about. I think, you know, some teachers would probably just pass it by and think, well, that doesn't have any place in my classroom because we already have our scope and sequence, you know, that we're going to do rainforests and Roman history. But we kind of really try and make an explicit space and say, we've got to push that stuff aside because something big has just happened and it's in all of our kids' heads. You know, they are thinking about this thing.
And it's relevant.
Teachers, you know, it's relevant. And there's so many opportunities to put it within the canvas of Minecraft and get the kids to more deeply communicate that and explore that with others. So we're very passionate about those zeitgeist moments and the way that Minecraft connects with that.
Yeah, and Minecraft is just so versatile that whatever it is that's pop culture can be rebuilt in Minecraft, and you can really tie it in. You know, you're talking Pokemon Go. I just did a geocaching lesson to get my kids going with doing with lines of longitude and latitude. We did it on the server, and I'm going to implement it in my classroom. But how great to tie that into, you know, Pokemon Go and just cache some NPCs that look kind of like Pikachu or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, you can absolutely do that. And you're teaching the kids about, you know, in my case, lines of longitude and latitude, but you could really tie it in with anything and it's relevant. And
yeah, you're right. And Mark, I mean, I think about even something else that I think I shared and a few others shared too, was this idea of, say, taking a skill like that around mapping and coordinates and exploring, you know, making a school tour in Minecraft and fashioning, you know, your school and talking about the sort of geometry and the mapping skills inside of that. I mean, that's something that for us is a massive social tool. I mean, as part of our school tours and things now, we're using virtual Minecraft built tours so that kids, before they even come to our school in person, can log on and think, oh, this is what our school looks like in Minecraft. So they know where the garden is, the playground is. And you think that's like a virtual social story that explains to the kids what they're going to see when they get to school. That's really cool stuff. You know, there's so many knock-on effects of things like that.
And who built that model of the school? Was it the students built it? For the incoming students?
Exactly. So we've got existing students who are working, because our school has multiple sites. So we've got a base school, but then we've got a lot of little satellite classes. And we threw the challenge out to say, we need you to build little school tours for new kids coming in, so they know what to expect when they get there, and it's not just a sudden shock. So that was a shared project that our kids have been engaging in across sites.
It just sounds incredible, and I mean, I'm just thinking you could. I'm sure you already do something like this, but you could have your kids leave little signs or little books, book and quills with little notes in there for them about the different areas, what they could expect, and it'd be in the kids' own language. And I mean, in their own way, they're communicating, and they're practicing their writing skills, they're practicing their communicating skills. It's great.
And it's almost like the kids are being the ambassadors for the new kids.
They are.
And that has benefit on both sides. It has benefit for the outgoing students, the ones who created it. They feel like they've added something to the school. They've left a legacy behind. And the incoming students, of course, they're going to feel that, okay, this is coming from, where I'll be in 3 years or in 2 years or in 5 years. And that's a tremendous feeling to transfer between outgoing generations of the school students to the incoming generations. So that's absolutely amazing. So there's so many different ways to engage the special interests of students. And of course, we had a number of examples, and I encourage everybody out there to take a look at the Participate Learn in the forum, in the description down below. We had the link in there so you can go and see all the examples that were shared. But I did want to pull something out because, Heath has been in here, and this is such a relevant point to me, is when it comes to engaging special interests, the interests of students are so diverse. Some students may be interested in Disney movies, may be interested in Pixar movies, may be interested in Inside Out. Some may not. But, Heath's point on answer number 1 was, you can bring books to life. You can create favorite characters. You can craft your favorite transportation vehicles. You can do all of this. With Minecraft, I think it goes even deeper than that. And I think as teachers, we need to encourage this level as well. As a lot of kids out there like to play mini games, and a lot of kids like to use mini games and do mini games. It's one of the reasons I believe why Stampy Longnose has become one of the biggest success stories in YouTube, is because all of his mini games are very, very fun, enjoyable, created, easy to do, and kids transitioned onto this. And I can speak with expertise on this because I am a former YouTuber. And by giving kids the opportunity to really do these things that they like, I'll tell you, one thing it does add a little bit of difficulty on is the teacher's job. Because the teacher now has to find ways to really make sure and match the students' levels of interest to the curriculum that they're looking to teach. But, and I am going to say but because I don't want to scare anybody, the results are what speaks for themselves. So tell me, what have the results been when you've done this, when you've taken this approach, Mark and Craig?
Sure. I mean, I was just reviewing some of my data from last year, and not that I measure my students by standardized test scores. I mean, that's the furthest thing from my mind, but it is reaffirming when you see test scores and children going from 4th to 5th grade, test scores doubling. Almost 2.5 times what they were the previous year. That's always nice. But what really stood out to me was attendance rates. My attendance to absentee ratio, it shot up. The average kid attended something like 7 or 8 more days of school in 5th grade than they did in 4th grade. 8 days of school. 18 kids, 19 kids, that's almost a whole school year. I mean, that class, they wanted to be there. They were attending school. They wanted to be there, if nothing else. I mean, just to go to a safe and fun place, just by virtue of being there, they're learning, regardless of what it is. So I think attendance is a great way to just measure. It is, I mean, we're so focused on test scores, but honestly, one of the number one indicators of college success is attendance at the elementary level.
Well, let's scope and
Yeah.
sort of frame what you're talking about there, because I don't want people to get the impression, I hope people aren't going to get the impression that Minecraft is this magical tool, and if you show Minecraft to kids in class, it's going to be the attendance. It's really not, because I've seen a lot of people get bored of Minecraft. I promise you this. What it is, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, it's the fact that you took their passion for Minecraft and a variety of other things and harnessed that and said, I am going to teach you based on what you are interested in.
I found myself saying a lot, and Craig, I'm sure you say something like this too, but I don't always know how this is going to turn out, but let's give it a try. And
yeah,
I've had kids come back to me and say, Mr. Grundell, can you take a look at this? I worked on this for, 3 hours last night, 4 hours, 5 hours. And I kind of get this this feeling in my head, like, I don't know how I feel about that. You just told me that you worked on something for 5 hours last night. I kind of want you, going out and playing. But at the same time, it's like, when are you going to get a kid to do 5 hours of homework? Like, never.
Yeah.
Never. And that they want to
totally.
like how many kids come to you and say, "Oh, look at this worksheet I worked on for 5 hours." They don't do that, but they bring you and you got to watch it. It's phenomenal, and it's empowering, and that is the key to Minecraft. Is you need to empower students through voice and choice. And if you say, I really I don't know what it's going to look like, and the kid offers their ideas and they kind of run with it, I think that always has phenomenal results, and they own it. The kids own it. It's theirs. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them what to do and how to do it. I just said, look, I got this idea. Oh, I think I can do that. Let me take a shot at it.
Yeah.
So, brilliant.
I totally agree, Mark. I totally agree. And it makes me think of, even within just sort of our field, I remember reading a study about schools for kids with autism. It was from over in Scandinavia. And it was this particular study about what is the key indicator that will lead to students making good academic progress in the future. So it was like, what sort of things are the real triggers for that happening? And far and away, the top outcome, the top trigger for making that happen was when teachers had a genuine emotional connection with kids, and there was this sense of what you love is respected in this classroom, and we're not going to say, you've got to leave Minecraft at the front door because you're in my room now and we don't talk about that here, or you've got to leave, whatever you're interested in outside because this classroom is not about you. When teachers, don't take that approach, and when teachers instead say, hey, what you love is respected and welcome in here. I, as a teacher, I'm going to model what I like, and I want you to be able to bring that in. That's the fusion, and that's the trust, and that's the love that gives kids the capacity to think, well, now I'm going to attend more school,
Yep. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I almost caught myself doing exactly what you're saying. I have a bunch of girls this year who are really into manga, and they're really into Naruto. And I'm thinking, there's really no place for Naruto in my classroom, but I don't want to say anything. But then I was speaking with actually Derek McCoy, who's the National Digital Principal of the Year in 2014, and he told me how his daughter actually entered college semi-fluent in Japanese because of watching all the different Japanese anime and manga.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I cannot deprive these girls who are showing interest in this. It's not my interest, but I'll make it work, and I'll still have these conversations. I'll still conference with them about their reading, and I'll make sure that I can't take that away, because to learn a language through something like that, and I mean, Minecraft provides the same opportunities. We're talking dialogue, we're talking conversations, we're talking common language here, and that's important, and it's establishing relationships, and that's what teaching needs to be about. And teachers who say we're in it for the content, well you got to be in it for the relationships, whether you're teaching regular ed, special ed, anything.
I'm gonna drop a point that you brought up, just to sort of iterate on that idea. And number one, I'm gonna preface it by saying the world as we know it is changing. Yeah. It is changing so quickly to the point where the jobs that you think, and this is out there, everybody knows it, the jobs that are going to come in the 21st, 22nd century, in the next generation, the jobs that our kids are going to have are vastly different from the jobs that we have today. And it's very interesting because Mark brought this up. Think back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Could you think that gaming and YouTube could ever be a career? Nobody would have believed that. Very few. Now, there were those of us who dreamed of it, but, it was still outside of that belief zone. And, to your point, Mark, about, this young girl learning Japanese through her passion, if you focus, and I've always believed this in business and in everything else, if you focus on your passion, you will be a success. Because you will put more energy, you will put more effort into it, you will attend more classes on it, you will learn more about it than anything else. So again, focusing on students' passions it's truly the way of the future. And Minecraft just represents a beautiful tool to allow us to easily be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
I think, and you're spot on there. I think that the idea of having a passion is something that wasn't part of the workforce in previous generations. That was something that if you liked what you did, that was a real bonus, but it didn't matter because you were doing it anyway. Yeah. Whereas now it's very passion driven, and as you say, if we can spark that fire early, I mean, when you're saying about gaming being an opportunity for work, I often think about, and I remember seeing this in the early 90s, it was a Far Side cartoon, the Far Side comics, Gary Larson, and there was a particular comic, and it had a boy playing like a Super Nintendo right up close to the screen, and his parents are watching him, and they've got little thought bubbles coming out of their head, and the thought bubbles are filled with job opportunities from a newspaper. So one of the jobs says, can you slay the dragon and catch the princess? We're offering you $50,000 a year plus a car. Can you solve the puzzles in the dungeon? You'll get free health insurance and blah blah blah. And it was a funny thing because you thought, well, kids are never going to be able to make a living out of playing games. That's just a fantasy that all kids would want to do. But this is the age we're in now, that using the things that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, coding games, getting into all this space. This is the way it's all going.
And again, it's not just about playing games, right? It's it goes deeper than that. But in a lot of cases, games, this idea of slaying the dragon can be that scaffolding point to say, this is what I like to do. Somebody who likes to play very physics-based games, like some of the games like Portal and Portal 2 that we have out there nowadays, can develop a serious penchant for physics. I developed a backseat fun desire to learn everything there was to know about ancient civilizations. And I can recite a lot of the stuff that I know. And I learned that from playing games. So again, Minecraft we're not suggesting that, you have students play games and play Minecraft for the sake of playing games because it might turn into a job for them. No, it is such a creative platform and such an environment that allows you to manipulate things and allows your students to manipulate things in such a way that they can grow and develop their skills. And that's oftentimes part of it, is when a child is in the ages that you're typically teaching up to at least grade 11 or 10, even in some cases, if the child is lucky, kids don't know themselves. They don't know what they want to do. And Minecraft represents this opportunity for them to explore all those different things. So let's, without further ado, let's move on to question 2, because I think these questions really do scaffold well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was going to say, I think we've already been touching on question 2, but, how do we use Minecraft as a tool for establishing dialogue? I mean, I think we've really covered that.
Excellent.
Was there anything you want to add to that, Craig?
No, I think you're right, and I mean I think it just comes back. I was even thinking about what you were saying there, Garrett, about kids not necessarily knowing what they want to do. But I mean, I've seen so many kids who have sort of seen what others have been doing across the other side of the world in Minecraft, and it's like, oh, I
Yes.
didn't even know that was something that people did, or that wasn't something that people thought. So I mean, in the same way, and I know this was something we were saying earlier about the value of things like Twitter to join educators up and educators putting ideas together and coming up with new ideas. I think that's what a lot of our kids are doing. They're getting into Minecraft and they're expanding their dialogue and they're expanding their zone of consciousness to take in all those other viewpoints from kids around the world. And I mean, that's how you grow and that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And so I think that's very powerful.
And not to contradict you, Garrett, but I think I've discussed this before, but there are actually, there are recruiters in games, and there are recruiters in games that are looking for competent players for positions in cybersecurity. There's a Minecraft server that's been set up called the Sphinx, spelled with a CY. Skyscraper that's been set up. I think I've shared this article before. Where they're setting up servers in Minecraft to recruit for cybersecurity because it's such an in-demand job. And Minecraft isn't the only game that's doing this, but it has the potential. And I mean, I think knowing this stuff and having these conversations with students, hey, you're very talented in this. Have you ever thought of a field in this? Most of my kids, are coming from Title I schools. They're not from affluent families. Cybersecurity is not something that they think about, that they dream of becoming either. But that is a very much in demand job that they could excel at, given the right opportunities.
Contradiction
Absolutely.
accepted and appreciated. Absolutely. It solidifies the point that Minecraft has the opportunity to open up so many doors. Gaming has the opportunity to open up so many doors. I do want to make one point on question 2, and it's a point that we discussed while we were in the chat. And that point is by Heath, who is also one of the co-moderators of the chat. And he said, in terms of answer 2, Minecraft provides a common ground for students and educators to meet. It avoids any perceived power imbalances in the learning space. And this is something that, you'll hear Stephen Isaacs talk about a lot, who is a very good friend of ours, an amazing educator. You should be following him if you're not. But he talks about, I just let the kids do what they do. Now, I do, everybody talks about the kids are the experts in Minecraft, and I believe that I'm very delicate on that one because I believe that, a teacher definitely needs to have some level of expertise. If you're going to be a manager in an environment, you need to know your business, you need to know the environment, you need to know what you're working with in order to get the most out of the people that you're managing, which includes students. Yeah. But this point really brings it out in such a way that as an educator, you no longer need to be knowing everything. You no longer need to be standing in front of the classroom as that I'm the expert in everything. It now becomes, here's my perception, here's your perception. Let's put them together in a very comfortable and balanced way. We're on the same level. We're both learning together. We're all learning together as we do in MinecraftEdu. And that's where you see these real sparks of crowdsourced imagination and crowdsourced growth coming from. And so that point of looking at Minecraft as this opportunity to provide common ground, I think is the best answer that I heard in how do you support that dialogue discussion. Yes. It's really about be balanced, just work with the students as opposed to teaching necessarily, and act as a facilitator when things do need to be addressed.
Yes, absolutely. I really liked that as well from Heath. And I saw a couple of people tweeting after that where they were sharing examples of even some group projects and some little things that had happened where there might have been, I think in one case, there was a student with autism who maybe wasn't always a really involved participant in some projects, but in this particular one that involved Minecraft, there were other students saying, hey, I want to be a part of that team. I need to bring him into the fold so that we've got that. And you think it's an opportunity for some kids who might have difficulties with communicating with others and group work skills and being able to project manage. You think this is a skill that they've really focused in being able to operate Minecraft that allows them to be a really full participant in those projects, whereas maybe in other avenues, the imbalance of power. I mean, often when you're thinking about sort of collaborative projects, the person who's the best orator and the biggest voice in the room or the group is often the one who dominates the space.
I'm guilty of that sometimes.
No, but it's a good skill, but it's also something that some kids, if they don't have that same skill for being able to be a good talker and to be able to take control of a group, they just fade back into the wall. Whereas in Minecraft, you think it's not about the biggest voice or about the best orator. It's a very balanced field that's dependent about what you can bring in and create. And I think that's a real leveler for a lot of kids.
And to piggyback off of what you're saying, Craig, oftentimes when we do projects, I want the students to share it, but there are those students who do not feel comfortable presenting in front of a class. And I think one of the beauties of Minecraft is its ability to screencast. You can record. I mean, I guess you could do this with anything now, but it just lends itself so well to, the rehearsal process. We can record it. Oh, we can try it again. It's teaching kids it's okay to make mistakes, take them through that iterative process. So I think Minecraft really does lend itself well. And I mean, there's just such a vibrant culture around Minecraft videos right now that the kids love it. And, it gives them a taste for it. And, I just think it's a great addition to the class. And that's right. If you are not comfortable speaking in front of a class, then, hey, let's practice it a few times. If you really don't want to talk in front of the class, let's just make a video and share it out that way.
And it truly gives them their voice, right?
Yeah. It really does create a safe and comfortable environment for a lot of kids.
Wow. Mark, you shared an article during the Twitter chat. Can you elaborate on that? It was about...
actually, amazingly, Craig actually met the author.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, you can find the article in the resources at Participate Learn, but the title of the article is called "Leveling the Playing Field," and it's really an interesting article. I actually read it for my I forget if I did it for my graduate studies or my doctoral studies, but about a teacher who uses Minecraft in the classroom. And there's one boy who is not a perceived leader in the class. In fact, he's perceived as a bit of a troublemaker, and he's a bit introverted. And Minecraft really, it turns out this kid is an expert in Minecraft, and nobody knew it because nobody talked about Minecraft in the class. And as the article progresses, this child really does take on more and more of a leadership role and is seen as an expert in the class. And is actually able to. It's a great article, and I mean, it's definitely has a fair share of data and its technicalities, and it's a lot. It's a quantitative study, I believe. It's a lot of numbers, but if you just kind of read the abstract and you look through, it's an amazing article, and it's just a great story of empowering this unlikely student, the unlikely hero.
yeah, absolutely right. It makes me think, I mean, I haven't read this article before. I'm just browsing through it now and thinking how fantastic it looks. And it makes me think a bit about, I mentioned a book at the start of the tweet, the start of the chat, called A Boy Made of Blocks, which is this fiction book that's just come out by Keith Stewart. And it's got a lot of little moments where it's about this 7-year-old boy who's on the spectrum. And, he has difficulties connecting at school. He has difficulties connecting socially with friends. He has difficulties connecting with his family. But then as this kid starts to get into Minecraft, his parents start to see other kids running up to him on the playground and say, "Hey, do you want to come over this afternoon? We're going to be building stuff in Minecraft. We're going to be playing Minecraft." And this kid who, had some social challenges in different ways is suddenly being, the social playing field is being leveled out because he's got a skill and a way of playing that just resonates with where other kids' heads are at as well. And there's actually a part in the book that made me laugh as you were just sort of talking about sort of screencasting, Mark, and that style of engagement for kids. And that there's a part in the book where these kids who would have previously found it very difficult to, say, stand out the front of a class and do a talk, they were so adept at doing like a running commentary on what's happening in the game of Minecraft, which YouTubers are just so fluent at giving a running dialogue and just giving an explanation of what's going on. And these kids who were, previously not very fluent in that space were really picking up those skills so nicely through Minecraft. And I mean, it's a piece of fiction based in the real world, but it just made me think about so many connections that our kids have in that same space.
Kind of makes me think about, Mark and I have had this conversation often enough on the assessment side of education and Minecraft, and how do you assess that a student has learned the skills? We're still stuck in that age to a degree, and thankfully we're coming out of it, where it's all about standardized testing and it's all about the recital and regurgitation of knowledge. But the reality is, if you can prove your skill in a different way, which a lot of children are more interested in, learning skills, picking up skills, and proving skills in a different way, as long as we know that they've gained the knowledge, that's the important part of the assessment. That's what we need to progress them forward on, not a mark on paper when there's so many extra things that can go wrong. There's, test anxiety and a variety of other things. So with Minecraft, being able to articulate what you've learned in either a visual way, a spatial way, a videographied way, a written way, it really opens the door to universal learning design. It opens the door to universal learning assessment, whereby we can say, just because you're not a good test taker does not mean that you failed this course. And we give students that opportunity to really showcase it. And I think that's what's transitioning the world. And that's what's giving us this opportunity in Minecraft to really give our students what they need. Because it sucks. It sucks. Now, I'm a good test taker. I know this. But it sucks when you just can't write a test. And I know people who are like that. They can't write tests.
I'm a terrible test taker.
Yeah. I'm actually quite a good test taker, but I'll tell you what sucks. I had a kid, first week of school, we did these bio poems, and one of the lines was, "Who fears?" First week of school, September, talking about fearing the state test at the end of the year. That's what that kid is looking forward to all year. He's already got anxiety in September about the test. And I think, what are we doing to these kids? What are we doing to them that they're focused on these tests in September? Like they couldn't get it out of their system over the summer. I mean, it's terrible. So yes, we got to make learning fun. We got to make it relevant. We got to make it meaningful. And I think, not that it's the golden arrow, but it's definitely a powerful tool for building those relationships and bridging the gaps.
I think the golden shotgun is better because, again, we have to have this. We really, an arrow hits one point. It only hits in one direction. But, with education, we have so many kids that are on the peripheries that are in various areas and various environments that if we can hit them all with one particular tool, it just makes everybody's job easier and makes their lives so much more rich. So that's why I said.
I mean, when you were saying a moment,
the holy.
When you were saying a moment ago,
not a literal
when you were saying a moment.
Go ahead, Craig.
No, you were just when you were saying about that sort of universal design for learning. opportunity there. It's something that when I'm talking about universal design to teachers, the example that I always use is Minecraft. There's nothing else in my toolbox of learning activities and educational resources that showcase as well as Minecraft does this idea of you put a task to kids, you put this project to kids, and there's nothing else that gives them as many multiple different ways to represent their learning. You know, in Minecraft, they can do whatever they want. They can build a city. They can represent things with abstract shapes. They can make a social dialogue with others. It gives you the opportunity to give multiple means of representation for kids, and it's a very valuable tool in that way that very little other, you know, similar resources or things that we have in our toolbox can let you engage in that space. There's a phrase that we use when we're talking about universal design and teaching. We say it's got to be it's necessary for some, but it's useful for all. And for us, this is something that for some kids, using Minecraft is not just a lightly given opportunity. For some kids, it's their only way of engaging in, you know, literacy tasks or giving a talk about a project they understand. It's the only way in which they are able to engage and do that well. But for everyone else, it's a phenomenally useful tool as well. So you think it's necessary for some of those kids, but no one is not getting something positive out of that experience.
Right.
Very brilliant point.
And I think, you know, talking about that universal design, the beauty of Minecraft is its low barrier of entry. You know, it's low floor and it's a virtually unlimited ceiling. So that, you know, going back to the comment that Garrett pointed out from Heath earlier, that it really does level it for all learners, and it dissipates that perceived, you know, expertise or power. I don't even want to say power struggle, but where, you know, a relatively new player can work relatively well side by side with a much more experienced player, and I think that they can work rather well together. Yeah, it's a much more balanced playing field. Guys, we're kind of running long here, so I know we want to get to question 4.
Yeah, I think question 3 we've already covered, but we'll iterate it just because it's how do you facilitate opportunities for students with special needs or special learning needs to collaborate and help each other. And we talked about a lot of this in the lead up for question 2. So we're going to go past that one. Q4, go ahead, Mark.
Great question. And yeah, this one raised my eyebrows, but I knew it was going to get Garrett's goat. Minecraft is sometimes used as a behavioral reward activity, but how can you use rebuild opportunities more constructively? And yeah, you know what? You want to talk about creating a controversy? Great question. So take it away, Garrett.
You've noticed my visceral reaction to this, and it's only because, you know, when I first saw that first part of the question, I was like, no! There are a lot of thought promoters out there who want to use it as a behavioral tool, as a reward activity, as a gamification activity, just overlaying the elements of gaming on it, or using it as a support to say, here, do the same worksheet over and over again. But I truly believe that is the wrong approach. I truly believe that if we approach it from that fact, we're going to quickly disengage children from what they're passionate about and what they love about Minecraft, which, if you look at any of the research on play-based learning, it's all about free play. It's all about the opportunity to explore. Even in the games that I create that are not free play games for education, there is always embedded in there that opportunity to explore, that opportunity to just take a step off and do something different for a little bit within the game engaging environment. And that is so truly necessary. So, but I do like the follow-up part of this. Thank you very much for putting this out there, Craig, is using that free build opportunity more constructively, using it not just as a reward supplement, as a reward basis, but using it to really engage in that deeper level learning, that process driven learning, that procedural driven learning, getting kids to really get in and dig into the nitty gritty and think about what they're supposed to be learning. So that's what I really like about it. And I think, you know, really it just takes a step away from looking at Minecraft as we're just bringing a game into the classroom, and looking at it as, no, this is, again, back to the earlier questions that we had, this is a way for us to really engage the passions. And all we have to do as educators is stand back and say, hold on a second, how can I match this student's passion or this particular build that's been created or this particular environment into the curriculum that I need to teach in a fun and engaging way? And when you take that opportunity to do that, you've got some success going.
And Craig, did you want to add something?
I only just to reiterate what you've said, Garrett, and to say that, I mean, I also have that exact same reaction that you have. I mean, when I see Minecraft being used in that way, one is that I'm really pleased that Minecraft is actually in the classroom, at least, you know, at least it's in the classroom. And the second thought is, but it shouldn't be just used in this way. But for some teachers, I think it's the entry level, it's almost like that slow ramp of, well, I've got Minecraft into the classroom. There's a child who we really need to find a reward to help this kid to get through his tasks. And Minecraft is that, you know, is that massive focus. But we think, and that was what the question was trying to raise is, but how do we use these free build downtime where we're not explicitly putting a project in place, where we're just letting our kids explore and do what they'd like to do? What are some prompts that as teachers we can think? And I think, I mean, Mark, there's something that you said where it was really, you said the same value that people have just going for a walk sometimes, and you go for a walk through the park, or you go for a walk to the beach, and you have thoughts that pop into your head that you wouldn't have sitting in a staff room or, you know, sitting in front of a book. There's something about that free movement where no one is explicitly telling you what to do in Minecraft that does elicit a whole bunch of other thoughts and considerations. And I think if teachers, you know, if they're using Minecraft in a bit of a free build way, prompts and some considerations that teachers could have with regards to what kids have in their mind as they are freely sort of exploring that space.
Utilizing some sort of reflection log at the end. You know, myself, you know, I've used Minecraft actually as almost the opposite of a reward, where I've had kids where I don't know if it's the right term, but they're almost like redlining. You know, they're upset, they're worked up, and they're not accomplishing anything anyway. So, all right, you know, how much time do you need? You need 5, you need 10 minutes, whatever. All right, why don't you go do a little free building, you know, compose yourself, calm down, and we'll get you caught up on the work. It's almost, and I've actually received some criticism for that. You know, why are you rewarding this kid by letting him play the game? Well, they're not accomplishing anything anyway. This is going to calm them down and get them back on track.
Exactly.
So it's really the opposite of a reward, and I found it to be effective for those kids.
No, totally agree with that. Absolutely.
2 brilliant examples of a way that Minecraft can be used as a behavioral modification that, you know, I have to say I'm almost a convert now. But no, realistically, two brilliant ways to showcase that.
I do want to say, though, I think, you know, the teachers who are using Minecraft as a reward system are probably not the teachers who play Minecraft and understand the true value of the game. Where I think the teachers who are playing the game and understand the game see that there's just almost unlimited educational value, and that a lesson can be pulled from almost anywhere within the game, that to just you know, use it as simply a reward is, it just totally devalues the game. So I really think the difference is in the teacher. Are they a gamer? Do they play the game, or are they not a gamer?
It certainly underutilizes the game's true potential. But I like what Craig was saying, and it's a tipping point. It's a point where the teacher has it in the classroom and the kids can start playing with it. That's fine. That's one thing. But I think in it, we also have to look at strategies. And Craig, you will probably agree with this because of your position as I guess, vice principal or a vice head or deputy head of the school. Is we really need to educate more teachers on where the value is, on where it can be used, where it can impact beyond just the behavioral device.
Yep.
And I think this probably is a lovely summary point for the whole after chat that we've been having here, in thinking about at the very start we were saying one of the real indicators of value and success for kids is when teachers emotionally connect with where the kids are at and respect their space and respect their interests. And you think, what better thing could a teacher do who doesn't know much about playing Minecraft, that if they've got a student in the class who loves it and is fascinated by it, and the teacher has sort of taken the steps of using it as a bit of a reward in the classroom, what a wonderful thing for that teacher to sit with the child, to sit next to them and get the child to talk them through what they're doing in that game, so the teacher can learn more about it themselves and it's not such a fear of the unknown. And from that seed might come some wonderful opportunities for the teacher to use it in more strategic ways in the classroom.
Absolutely. All right. Well, great final point. I think we have overwhelmed our time here. I'm going to go over Q5 just so that those who are watching this and who have made it through this, can go back and take a look at the Participate Learn link. Q5 was what is an example of how a student with special needs has achieved a personal education goal you've set for them using Minecraft. There were plenty of examples being shared, and I encourage you to look at those examples. Bottom line is Minecraft has a tremendous opportunity to integrate, to focus on students' special interests, and most of all, I think, again, the big theme is to balance the playing ground, to balance and level the playing field so that parents, teachers, students, administrators can all come into the scenario on the same page, and a student doesn't feel like they're doing it just because the teacher is the boss. Again, when we get to that point, the student will do it because the teacher is the friend, the assistant, the facilitator, the co-worker. And that's a beautiful relationship to have. Any final thoughts from yourself, Craig, before we say good night and goodbye to you?
Oh, I think that's a really lovely point to end on. And it's probably my challenge that I'd like to issue to any teachers who are tuning into this or to read through the chat is, if you have not taken the opportunity yet to sit down with one of your students and learn a bit more about Minecraft, if that's something that's one of your goals, I think take the opportunity as soon as you can to really capture that opportunity and really engage in what that student's interests are, and share your own as well. But to build up that relationship, I think would be a lovely challenge that I'd like to put out to teachers to put that into place in the classroom. And thanks so much for having me. It's lovely to do this chat again. I really feel like it even built on a lot of the things that we started in the first time that we did a similar chat. It extended the topic and took it even further. So it was lovely to be part of it, guys. Thanks so much.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here again, and hopefully, maybe next April for Autism Awareness, we'll bring it back. That'd be awesome. Be incredible. Craig, can't thank you enough. Wish Heath was here. He, as always, phenomenal. It's really great working with you.
Heath's wife has been overseas for a month. He's heading down to Sydney to pick her up, so I don't think wild horses could have stopped that from happening. But he's very lucky he got to join our chat.
He's going to Sydney to play some Pokemon Go. Come on.
Absolutely.
Well, we will forgive him for not being here. It's definitely well worth it to see the wife after a month.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, Garrett. As always, a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mark. Again, to all of you guys out there joining us on the MinecraftEdu Twitter chats, we really, truly appreciate your voice. Keep coming, keep joining with us, and sharing that voice, because the more voice, the better. Everybody brings a certain passion and a certain perspective to the table that is truly, truly appreciated. I want to give a big thank you to Mark, of course, our co-founder of Minecraft Ed, who works tirelessly along with myself to make sure that these Ed chats are functional and provide value to you as educators. If you've made it this long, then you are a hardcore individual who can sit through a very long chat, but a very good one. It's always a pleasure to speak with you again, Craig, and to have these in-depth conversations. But if any of you guys are interested in joining one of the MinecraftEdu Twitter chats as a host or as a moderator, please do reach out to Mark or myself. You can reach me on Twitter at PBJellyGames, and you can reach Mark on Twitter at his address, which is mgrundell. So please make sure that you get in touch with us if you have a topic that you'd like to see happen or a topic that you'd like to moderate. We are always looking for moderators.
And our moderators, you don't need to be an educator or a teacher. We love administrators, parents. We've had students, community members. So, please reach out and join us.
Frogs, dogs. Cats.
Have we had any of those yet?
We haven't yet, but we're looking for them.
If you have a cat or a dog that plays Minecraft, we want them on.
All right. Well, we will say farewell. Have a good evening to you, or a good afternoon for those who are watching in the morning. Again, Craig, thank you so much again for the wonderful insights. You bring a lot to these chats, and we really, really, really appreciate your voice and your perspective and your insight. So thank you again, and thank you to everybody else. We will see you next week on MinecraftEdu Chat.